Have you ever said to yourself, I've ruined my life, now what? Well, you're not alone. And we're going to talk to my friend, Dr. Paul Jenkins today. He's heard this time and time and time again from people who felt they were lost and felt like there was no point in going on. But you know what? He's been able to turn them around and help them have a happy, abundant life. Join me for my interview today with Dr. Paul Jenkins from Live on Purpose TV. All right, we're talking today, if you've ever told yourself, oh my gosh, I have ruined my life, now what? Now what do I do? Maybe you felt like you're the victim of your life and you feel stuck, you feel trapped. Well, I have an amazing expert here. This is Dr. Paul Jenkins, and I'm gonna have him introduce himself and to talk a little bit more about that. But he's gonna help us figure out how we can get out of this victim mindset that we get stuck in. And believe me, I've been there with you. And how you can actually be empowered to have the sort of life that you want. So first of all, Dr. Paul, will you tell us who you are? Because I think that's super important in this conversation so they know they can trust you.
So Scott, here's the context. I'm a psychologist.
Okay.
You can't shock me. Honestly, I have been practicing for about 25 years now.
Okay.
I have heard some of the darndest stuff you can imagine, and that has come up many times. That, I've ruined my life. What am I going to do? Some version of that. In my book, Pathological Positivity, one of the chapters is titled, Surprise! Because you're going down through life, and you've got this plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then, surprise, something happens.
Yeah.
That wasn't on the plan.
Is
this universal or what? It's happened to you.
Oh, yeah. My life's taken some really strange turns. So
yeah. It's happened to me too. In fact, I described that in my book. Chapter 1 is called Lightning Strikes. And it's about a time in my life when I was going through a bankruptcy.
Oh.
Which you might, if you follow my channel or you know a little bit about me, you might think, Dr. Paul's been through a bankruptcy? What?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Life's over.
Because you're going along through life and surprise!
Yeah.
Something happens and it's not what you had in mind. This was such a powerful experience for me because it taught me something really important. And also, let me put another context on this. I do podcasting. I've been podcasting since 2007 with my show Live on Purpose Radio. Scott Wilhite's been on there a couple of times.
Yeah, it's great. Listen to it.
And I've interviewed some really amazing, inspiring people about their powerful stories. Here's something I've found. Every inspiring story has a hard part in the middle.
Okay.
Let that sink in for a minute. Okay, everyone, without exception. You go to the movies, you watch these movies about heroes or the inspiring stories that are in the media. Every one of them has a hard part in the middle. When we're going through our own life and these surprises happen, it's really easy to conclude that I've ruined my life. When really, you're probably at the hard part of your inspiring story. There's a country song. You can get away with anything in country music, right?
Yeah.
There's a country song that goes something like this. If you're going through hell, keep on going.
Winston Churchill actually said that.
Did he?
Yeah, that's it. And
I love it.
Country music turns anything into a song, right?
Well, don't slow down.
Yeah.
Don't set up camp there because you're in the hard part of an inspiring story. You're not done yet. And that perspective changes everything. It gives you the energy and the perspective to keep moving forward to whatever is going to be the end of this inspiring story. Now, I say end.
Yeah.
It might be the end of a chapter because you're going to have other stories that unfold as well.
But think about where you are in that story. And so often we don't recognize when we're in the pit, just, what's going to happen on the other side.
Right.
Kind of an interesting thing. I do a lot of like research on Google and things, and I found that 1,100 people a month search this term, does suicide hurt? That means they are thinking about it. Isn't that sad? Doesn't that just break your heart? They're asking, does suicide hurt? Meaning they're thinking enough about it that they're worried about that little bit of pain. Yeah. But you got to realize, wherever you are in your story, you may be in the deepest, darkest pit. But when you get on the other side, you have this amazing story to tell. You have seen where you've been. And yeah, whenever you're watching these movies, the darker the pit, the greater the heights that you're able to get to after that.
Yes. And every story has a villain too.
Yeah.
Whatever your villain is, it might be that choice that you made that is ruining your life, or it might be a person or a circumstance or whatever it is. The villain is only in the story to illuminate the hero. And that's how we can tell that there's a hero. And like you were saying, Scott, the bigger the villain or the bigger the challenge, the greater the power of the hero, and the more inspiring the story becomes.
Now, one of the tricky things that you need to do is you need to figure out who you are in your own story. So often we get stuck and trapped feeling like you're the victim, and you start telling these victim stories about how all of this stuff is happening to you. And it actually, having that sort of a mindset really stymies you. It keeps you stuck.
Yeah.
But if you feel you are the hero of the story, then you look at everything that's happening and you say, life doesn't happen to you, life happens for you. And suddenly all of these challenges that you're facing, they're going to help you rise out of it. Do you agree? Do you have something to add?
Absolutely, 100%. The story is being written and cast by you. So you've got some choice in the matter, and you can have all the same characters, you can have all the same circumstances, but there's a little twist in that it becomes a hero story instead of a victim story. What role do you play? Are you the pitiful victim that just got beat up by whatever circumstances? Or are you this amazing hero that has this thing happen and rises to the occasion?
Yeah. And so often the hero doesn't know they're the hero. When you're watching the movies, it's this unsung hero, this person. You wouldn't expect much to come out of them, and the transformation is just amazing. So as we're talking about strategic beliefs and core stories, we're talking about how you can be in charge of your life, how you can direct your life and get out of your way so that you can get what you want. So
you mentioned mindset.
Yes.
And the victim, so we're not talking about a victim of crime or a victim of abuse. It's really what I refer to as a paradigm or a worldview, a way of seeing things. The victim paradigm is one of blame and why me and I can't. And you think about what that does to your mind. As soon as you take on the I can't position, it's like a big toggle switch on your brain, a power switch, on, off. I can't turns it right off, shuts her down, and there's nowhere to go after that. If you keep it in the power on position, this is what I call an agent paradigm, or a hero paradigm, if you like that word better. That turns the brain on because instead of saying I can't, you simply go to the question, how can I? Now notice what happens to your mind.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're thinking solutions.
There's somewhere to go.
Yeah.
Go find a solution. Of course you don't know how yet. You've never been here before. You're not supposed to know how yet, but can you find out how? There's no challenge. I know this is a bold statement, Scott, but I think it's true. There's no challenge you can encounter here on the planet that hasn't already been handled by someone in some way.
That's true. And they've survived.
and they've survived.
Yeah.
And even if they haven't, sometimes we think that, well, what if I die? Maybe that's not the worst thing.
Yeah.
Nobody gets out of this alive. That's a whole other conversation.
That is a whole other conversation. So let's jump back. Paul, you are filing for bankruptcy. Where are you? What's going on in your mind? And how do you become who you are now with thousands of followers, with a YouTube following, with your podcast going strong, with a thriving business, a speaking business? How do you get there from where you were?
The first step is exactly what we already talked about.
Okay.
It's what position am I taking? Am I a victim or am I a hero? And you got to pick a position. As long as you're whining and complaining and blaming, and I was for a while, you're stuck. There's nowhere to go from there. And you will feel stuck. In fact, people describe it this way when they come to my office. They say, "Oh, Doc, I feel so stuck." Oh, see, that turns on a little light in my head that says, I wonder if they're stuck in a victim paradigm. Yeah. No, they don't think they are. They think they're stuck in a circumstance. But this is what, in psychology, we would call the fundamental attributional error. We make up stuff in psychology to make us feel smart. Okay. This is one of those things. But it's when we find ourselves in a circumstance that we don't like, we ask, why am I here? And it's so easy to point to our circumstances as the cause of our being stuck. But it's an error because the cause is in our thinking. I have a colleague who said it this way. He said, every problem we encounter is a problem with thinking. That's also a bold statement. I think it's probably true.
Yeah. I often say your problem isn't your problem. Your problem is how you think about your problem. That's right. Your problem. That's a problem.
That's reminding me of Pirates of the Caribbean. I think Captain Jack said something about that. We're going to have problems. Welcome to Earth. How we handle and think about those problems is what determines where we can go with it. And I had a powerful experience. It was in the thick of that challenge that I shared with you when I was interviewing a very inspiring woman, Mary Louise Zeller, 6-degree black belt in Taekwondo. She's in her late 70s now. And she can kick you next Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, I bet she could.
She didn't even start Taekwondo until she was in her 50s or 40s. It was later in life. And as I'm interviewing Mary Louise for my show, she says this, and it really sunk in. She said, Paul, the troops aren't coming. And then she paused for a minute, just for me to digest that. And then she followed it with this. We are the troops. And it was probably the first time in that challenging situation where my eyes opened up to the fact that I was stuck in a victim paradigm.
Yeah.
That's what was keeping me stuck. It wasn't my circumstances. And when she said that, she might as well have kicked me. I'm glad she didn't. But it woke me up to the fact that I have something to do with this. And there's always something that you can do when you assume an agent or a hero paradigm in place of the victim. There's always something that you can do. I believe that the solution to any problem we face is a conversation away because of what other people know. And think about it. Other people always know more than you do. I mean, collectively.
Yeah.
So the solution is there. It simply requires that we get out of our own way, like you said earlier. Take on an agent or a hero paradigm. Get rid of the victimhood because it's keeping us stuck. And that, I think that's where you start.
There you go. So your life is not ruined. You are not at the end.
No.
You don't give up. You are the hero. There are things you can do to actively, deliberately take control of your life, to live on purpose, and to really learn how to thrive and to be on the other end, being the hero. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check out some more stories and shows and episodes, because we have ways to help you change your core beliefs, change your stories, and really live strategically with your mindset. What do you think? You've heard our thoughts? Now let's hear yours. In the comment section below, share what impressions came to your mind. What did you get out of this? If you have had thoughts to take action, please do so. Always listen to your inner voice. It's your ultimate guidance system. Of course, the best place to take action is at scottwilhite.com, because if you join me for a free web class, I will reward you by sending you my purpose planner so you can have a physical guide to help you get in touch with your inner guide. Your core story will serve you or shackle you. It's up to you. Choose your beliefs and pick your identity. It is choice, not chance, that determines your reality. See you next time.